Hello, welcome back to the Makeso channel here in Singapore. The Makeso channel is here where we showcase our live workshop here in Singapore, where we also hold classes, but we also do share our craft projects and products that we sell on our Hestai Etsy website with you as well here on the channel. So if you're looking for a regular kind of crafting kind of channel, or you can see different things, and sometimes we do tests, and sometimes we do products, we do our own products. This is the place for you, and we invite you to subscribe and especially like this video so that you can see more of the videos. But getting into it, today we have something. I did a post, excuse me, I did a post in a couple of the craft groups of our Christmas ornaments. We were trying out our sublimation, and it went kind of like wildfire, and everybody was like, oh, give me a step-by-step. Well, any of you guys that know sublimation know that you can't do a step-by-step sublimation instructions in text on a Facebook post in the comments. So we decided to do a video, and we're gonna try our hand at using the Cricut Infusible ink to create this item here with sublimation and paint. So if you stay tuned, after the intro, we'll get right into it, and we're gonna do some sublimation. First time. Thanks. Okay, we got you here with the overhead view where we have everything laid out in front of you here. This is my first sublimation video. We got a lot of interest, so we put this together real quick from the ornament videos or ornament posts that we did. We had a lot of people asking about a step-by-step video, so we wanted to put this video together real quick. So in front of you, we'll go quickly through the things we're going to use today. We have our blank, which we'll talk about later, which is extremely important. We have our sublimation. This is actually, if you recognize it, it is Cricut Infusible ink, which I do not really like that much, but I wanted to use something that everybody had access to and show you that this is a very simple and easy process to do. So we just cut a little, the thing out of our Cricut Infusible ink so we can quickly do it in Infusible ink. Infusible ink is nothing but sublimation that Cricut has done themselves. We're going to use a bit of heat tape. And then this here is just a heavy weight to put onto our project to keep it down while it's cooling. We got our heat mat just to give us some stabilization. We're going to use our Teflon paper to keep our press pretty nice and clear. And of course, we're going to use our Easypress, which we're going to have it at about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 degrees Celsius. And we're going to put that heat onto our blank for 60 seconds. So into our material, because your material that you use is probably the most important thing. A lot of people look for the cheapest way to get it, and I see a lot of talk of Dollar Tree and this and that back and forth. I don't go that route. I tend to go like a woodworker's route, where you're getting nice quality material and putting together a quality project. If you get on a Facebook group with woodworkers, you will never hear anybody talking about how cheap they got something, or they can get this from the Dollar Tree, because it's just not the mentality that they use. I would hope our crafters would I think saving money is a good thing, but I think getting very cheap things is not a good idea, especially when you're making products for other people. You want to get premium products. So let's start with premium products. We want to talk about our blanks that we have here. Our blanks are made of cast acrylic, and that's probably the most important thing if you're going to sublimate onto acrylic. Know the type of acrylic that you have. It must be cast acrylic. There's two types of acrylic. There's cast acrylic and there's extruded acrylic. You could sublimate on extruded acrylic, but you're going to get faded results and not that great results. You want cast acrylic. There's also different qualities of cast acrylic. So you need to be extremely careful in the cast acrylic that you get. Cast acrylic is a hard word for me and it's escaping me. So we'll stop with the cast acrylic there. The second thing on your acrylic blank is that you want it to be fairly thick. You don't want to use a 3mm blank because, like I said in the beginning, we are going to place 400 degrees Fahrenheit heat onto this blank for 60 seconds. It's going to get extremely hot. And so a 3mm blank is going to wave and warp, and it's just going to mess up your project. A 5mm blank or thicker is going to be able to hold the heat and not warp out on you into your project there. Probably the last thing that you want in your project is how the blank is cut, because you're going to sublimate onto the back in a reverse print way. And so it's going to be viewed through the top of your see-through blank. So you're going to be looking through your edges as well. So you want an edge that is glass cut like this. And we do all of our edges, no matter what we do, in this glass cut that we do. A lot of people that are making blanks out there are not doing this type of edge because it takes a long time. It takes some skill in your settings and how you cut. And it's a very long time. It probably 5 times the length of time to cut a blank to get this kind of edge on it. But this is the kind of edge that will get you that beautiful dimensional look, and that's what you want from it. So you want to make sure you get a good quality blank. We sell ours, the Hestai blanks, on our Hestai Etsy site, and that's where you really want to start at. Again, we said we're using the fusible ink that we have here. Obviously, you can get much better sublimation by doing your sublimation on your own with your printer. Some people have theirs dialed in beautifully. I'm not a sublimator, but if you're doing sublimation out there, you want to bring your A game to bring your sublimation that's beautiful print on your sublimation paper. So what we're going to do first is we're going to peel this off the back and peel our protective paper on the back, and we're going to take our heat tape and we're going to tape the sublimation paper directly to the blank so there's no overlap. You want to be 1 for 1, an exact match on the side. You don't want to get the sublimation around the edges because that will mar your print there. I have my gloves on today because my hands look horrible and we're in a kind of a close-up thing. So I'm going to tape this to the blank, and then we're going to come right back after that. Okay, we're back. We've got our sublimation or our infusible ink all taped to the back of our blank there. Lines up perfectly. And what we're going to do is set it down straight here. I'm going to cover it with my Teflon paper, and we're going to bring over our heat and get it squarely onto the top of the blank for 60 seconds. The big thing before I do this is the reason we taped it is because you don't want any movements in the sublimation paper. It's going to cause ghosting as it sublimates. Sublimation is basically going from solid to gas, and that solid to gas will fuse into the polyester fibers. So while it's doing the sublimation, while the ink is turning into gas, if it's moving, the ink will move. So you want it to be fairly straight and set, not fairly, you want it set and straight deadly so that all the sublimation goes to the same place for a crisp and clear image. Again, that's why we're going to use the heavy weight on the top at the end, because while it's cooling, it's still sublimating a bit. And so we wanted to have a weight on the top to keep that sublimation in place. So we will go ahead and start that process. We're just using our Cricut Easypress 2. We'll get it on there straight and solid, and we'll start the timer. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through the 60 seconds because I don't think you need to see the 60 seconds, and we'll see you afterwards. Okay, so now we've got it sublimated. We're gonna put our heavy weight on there and let it sit and let it cool down. And we're gonna come back to you after it cools down. As you notice when we're pressing, to make sure don't move it and keeping it straight, as I said before, everything you wanna keep as straight as possible. So we're gonna let it cool down and then we'll come take the tape off together after it cools down. Okay, once we get the tape off, the sublimation paper could stick to the blank. You can take water and it'll take it right off from there. I've never had it stick to me like that. Sticking together now. There we go. The tape was sticking to itself. But once you get the tape all off, you should be able to peel it away. You'll see a pretty decent sublimation there on that side, and you'll have a clear, translucent sublimation there that you can see through fairly well. And so from here, you're saying, okay, we're not getting the pop that we saw before. It's because we need an opaque background. So in sublimation, what you're gonna do is the white is gonna come from your substrate, or in a situation like this, we're gonna have to put the white onto our substrate to make it work. So now we're gonna take it over to the paint booth and we're going to put white paint along the back of this. And so we'll get set up with the paint booth and take you over for the paint booth. Okay, we're over at the photo booth here. I've done some small things to prepare the blank. I've taped off the edges so that when I spray paint, that they don't get on the edges. I will still clean it with alcohol, IPA, isopropyl alcohol, but the tape will help it keep it clean as well. This part of the process is to make the colors pop and to put that white background on the back. Now, I like to use spray paint myself because it gives a nice, clean, smooth image, and it goes where you want it to go. Some people just take white vinyl and stick it on the back. That will work just as well. If you got a nice way to put vinyl perfectly on there and transfer it, that's good. You could also take just a brush paint and paint it onto the back of it to make that white come out in the back. Any way you want to get that white opaqueness on the back to make those colors pop would actually work. I'm just using spray paint. I'm using the Rust-Oleum primer white. And the reason why I do that is because I feel like on the spray paint, I can get a good control and get a nice even coverage. You don't want a big thick globs and blocks in one places or another, because what it's gonna do is gonna show up when you look through your image. So you want it nice, cool, and even. You'll get that with, if you're brush painting, obviously you won't get that if you use a vinyl and stick it on the back, but this is just the route that I will go. We have our dirty paint booth here, so I'm gonna put a piece of white paper to start with it there, and you always wanna be safe, so I wear a respirator because it makes you look safe and makes you look actually kind of cool, kind of like, feel like Darth Vader. Martha Stewart, I am your father. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take you through this probably in fast time, because we're gonna put a couple coats down on this, and then we'll show you the end result. You really feel like Darth Vader in this thing. Okay, we're back to the overhead. Our paint, it's come out of the booth. It's fully painted. As you see, we got a little bit on the edges, and we're gonna clean up our edges with some rubbing alcohol here, just a little bottle that I have here. And so we're gonna go ahead and whip that out. You want a little bit on the side of your towel there, and actually just rub it lightly across the sides. You're taking off the paint because we taped it nicely so the sublimation didn't get on here. I didn't let this dry as good as I probably should have because I'm rushing this along, so it's a little bit tacky still on the back. So, but we're taking off the edges and getting it nice and clean. And as we do it, you can see the importance of, I'm putting fingerprints in the back, but you want to let it dry very well before you do that. And then you want to take off and clean your edges because you want to get that look along the edges that you get there. So you want your edges to be very clear. And then from here, we're just going to take our vinyl. We've already cut it. Take our vinyl off like you normally do. This is the white on this yellow, so it's a very subtle look. You can see it better there and there. I'm gonna pull this off, take it off screen here to get it lined up a little bit better so I can see. Okay. Just kidding. I made this just as wide as the blank is, which gives me no room for error here. So all right, there. So that is not centered. Okay, so I'm gonna set it down and look at it and get it centered onto there. And there we go. Okay, so now we get our vinyl down onto the blank. I'm gonna just burnish it onto the blank there. And we should be able to peel it off nicely. And we get our floating letter above our painted back sublimated blank. And you can get the colors to pop. This graphic that we got from the Infusible ink, it's kind of a pale yellow. I think these works better with the brighter colors, and you'll get more shadow on the back. Or I could even went with a black vinyl on the front to give it that depth that you want into the picture. But that is quickly the sublimation on the back with paint or whatever you need to get the opaque back, and then vinyl on the top. So you can create the floating letters. You can do this with any of our 5mm blanks, whether it be it could be a coaster blank, it could be the ornament blank, or it could be the key ring blanks as we use here. You can do it with earrings. You can do, this opens up for all kinds of varieties, things that you can do with your sublimation printers. Also, of course, if you just do this just with vinyl, you can do it just with vinyl. So you've got a good level of mix that you can work with these blanks, and you can get a very classy, beautiful depth look. You can see how it looks like that vinyl is just floating right on the top because the image is on the back and the vinyl is on the top, and it's a good enough depth to give that kind of floated, kind of classic look when you look at it from the side and through it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. We wanted to get this out real quick. We're probably going to do some more sublimation videos like this because we have a lot of blanks available. You can do this on white blanks. Our white acrylic they're all cast acrylic. In fact, any acrylic you get from us is cast acrylic, so it would be able to be sublimated on. So thanks for watching. Please like the video, subscribe. Please share this with your friends and people, anybody that you would know that would be interested in sublimating, or check out our other videos that we do a lot of HTV on, because we got a lot of questions on this, and I think this is valuable information for people in the craft industry. All right, guys, so that was the sublimation key ring we made. I know normally I don't come back at the end, but I wanted to come back at the end of this one to stress that sublimation is a bit of an art form. We are not sublimators. I am not a sublimator. That's why I kind of used infusible ink, because the most important thing with doing a project like this with sublimation is going to be that you, like we said in the video, you want to use a quality blank, but you want to make sure that you have good ink to do it with as well. Infusible ink is probably not my favorite way to go, and that's why I kind of did it that way, because then you saw a guy who's not really experienced at sublimation using inferior sublimation infusible ink. If you are a sublimator out there and you're using somebody like Cosmos inks or something like that, which has a really vibrant color to it, with our blanks, you're going to be able to create things that are just going to snap and pop. It is going to come out translucent, like we say in the beginning, but whatever you choose to make it opaque across the back is what's going to make the color pop. You're going to have some success, you're going to have some failures, but you can get a good product out of doing sublimation. Just one more point to let it note, like we said, we're not sublimators. Most of our things that we do here for people who are watching us that buys our products are always a UV printed that we send out, which is a totally different process. It is printed directly opaque across the back, not see-through at any point. And that's how we do it with an industrial size machine, which you've probably seen in some of our earlier videos. So I didn't want people to get confused between us doing sublimation and our UV printed products. Two totally separate things. Thank you guys for watching. Again, come back. Let your friends know, because hopefully we're giving out a lot of information that people care about and are interested in. And also, give us some information in the comments below. Let's start the conversation there. I'll see you there. We answer all questions and all comments that's given to us. Thanks for watching.